Hello, this is Unit 5, Team 6. This is our video conference. I'm Teresa Moore.
And I'm Cindy Rivas. And for today, ISTE standards, we're going to talk about standards for teachers and coaches.
I had the pleasure of reading the Horizon Report 2017 K-12 edition. I'm focusing on the key trends of accelerating technology adoptions in higher education. The first trend that I will focus on today is the short term, the next 1 to 2 years. I'm focusing on bullet point B, the rise of STEM learning. As I was reading this article, I had heard of STEM before, the science, technology, and engineering, math program, which boosts innovation. After reading this program, STEAM, the A stands for Arts, Design, Humanities. And what they're saying that the difference between the two programs is that STEAM removes limitations and replaces them with wonder, critiques, and innovation. So really incorporating these three pieces into the process will create students to make inquiries, be able to have dialogue with other students, and to think critically, and that's what we want for our 21st century students. So I found those two to be very interesting. Cindy, have you heard of the STEAM learning before?
And I like that you mentioned this because I actually have the 2016 K through 12 edition,
Uh-huh.
and just in this 1 year, they added the A to it. So mine still mentions STEM and yours is STEAM. So a lot of has developed in 1 year.
Yes, that's that technology process.
Yes.
Okay, the second point is the midterm trends. Normally, this is 3 to 5 years, and I will be focusing on redesigning learning spaces. Pretty much what this is saying is that from listening to everyone else's YouTube videos of their articles, it's just saying that education is moving from that traditional setting where the teacher's up there lecture, and it's turned into student focused centers where the students are doing all the talking and the teachers are becoming facilitators. The last bullet point, number 3, long-term trends, is 5 years plus. This was my favorite. I'm going to discuss deeper learning approaches. And I really enjoyed this because I'm in a training right now and it fits right into what I'm learning. It says that educators need to engage students into critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, self-directed learning. Students need real-world knowledge and skills. So we're not only teaching them what we need to is for us to teach. We're teaching them about real life. And in my training, the traditional system says the teacher does, we do, means we do it as a group, and then they do it by themselves. Now is the reverse way. We're going to give the kid the problem, they're going to do it. Then we're going to do it together as a class, and then the teacher will do. And then I really love this acronym because if they do it for themselves, okay, they may not be successful, they may fail. But I love this acronym. FAIL means first attempt in learning. So it's not like you're a failure. This is your first attempt. You're going to learn from your mistakes. So I really, really love that deeper learning approach.
I like that. I can actually use that with my college students.
Yes, I love it. I wrote it down in big bold letters, and I'm going to make a poster and put
I'm
it in
writing
my
that
class.
down actually. Neat.
All right, Cindy.
And for my Horizon report, I picked the 2016 K through 12 edition. And I had the trends for short, midterm, and long term. And for the short term trend, I'm going to focus on letter B, which is the students as creators. And what I liked about this article was that it mentioned that using apps like Instagram and Snapchat can actually help students get creative by becoming programmers, inventors, entrepreneurs, develop games. So, and they call this process deeply engaging learning experiences. So I found that very interesting. Who know that using social media could do that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I read in my report was that more creativity means less traditional assessments.
Mhm.
So the more you give the students the freedom, the more they'll be able to learn and assess themselves as to if they're doing well or not. The other thing that the article mentioned was that collaboration, communication, information literacy, and global awareness are examples of skills that defined and built into assessment. So I like that.
Mhm.
Um, for the midterm trends, I'm going to talk about Bulletin A, which is collaborative learning. And we all know that collaborative learning is what we like.
Mhm.
It's encouraged. And actually, St. Jack actually has implemented collaborative learning into our class time. So before it used to be we only lecture. And now, if it's a 2-hour class for 2 days a week, so that means you have 4 hours, so that means that for 3 hours you lecture, and for an hour you use that for them to work together. So in 1 week they actually work 30 minutes each class time to work with the group. So I like that.
That's really
And the article ended up mentioning that them using collaborative learning encourages students increases their achievements, encouraging to be able to discuss their problem solving. They build their confidence, and it's more active learning. And of course, group work. Who's not going to like group work? Teresa,
Mhm.
how do you incorporate collaborative learning in your classroom?
Well, in my classroom, my kiddo sits in groups of fours, sometimes fives, but I really like four. And we use this Kagan strategy where it is talk to your elbow partner, talk to your face partner. So that gives
Oh,
them at least two other people to talk to about their ideal. So it's really, I really love that because I could teach them something and one student doesn't get it, but when they have that conversation between each other, that aha moment comes through. So
yeah.
I agree with collaborative learning.
I actually enjoy walking around whenever they are communicating with each other and listening,
Mhm.
like how they interact with each other and the things they come up with to be like
Yes.
to explain. I was like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
think of that.
Yes.
I like it. Um,
Yes.
and to actually continue with your how you design your classroom with my third bulletin with redesigning learning spaces with the long-term trends is pretty much saying how moving away from the traditional classroom, each row facing the
Mhm.
board, teacher in the front, should be
Mhm.
changing to um, different ways to redesign your classroom, and also them mentioning how lighting, the temperature,
Mhm.
and decoration of a classroom also helps students. And believe it or not, right now my room is very dark, but when
Uh,
I turn on the light, I know that I'm going to be awake and I'm going to work more efficiently.
mhm.
And ended up also reading in my Horizon report that the University of Minnesota compared two classrooms. One was active learning and one was the traditional lecture setting. Ended up working in their favor with the active learning, that 48% had more discussion and 22% was less lecture. So I like that.
Mhm.
So you like to add to your comment about redesigning, do you find that effective?
I do. I do find redesigning learning spaces effective because they are able to communicate. And I do agree, lighting, the color of your room, and the temperature of your room has a lot to do with kids learning. I teach elementary school, so it's very important for y'all classrooms to be at a certain temperature, to make sure that the blinds are open, all the lights are on. Some days we do work with the lights off. The kids do enjoy that as well, but normally the lights are on. It's at a nice temperature so they can be able to learn. Because if a classroom is too hot, they're focused on cooling off. If it's too
Yeah.
cold, they're focused on how can I get warm. So I agree with that, redesigning the learning spaces. And
Yeah,
they should work in collaborative groups. That's how they learn from each other.
Yeah, because right now I just got out of class a few hours ago, and all I kept thinking, I'm cold. Cold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As soon as I walk out those doors, I'm like, yes, it's warm. So yeah,
Yes.
temperature.
So
But
it has a lot to do. I mean, picture a bunch of 9-year-olds sitting in the cold classroom. So if we feel that way, we can only imagine how they're feeling.
yeah, true, true.
All right, well, that is our report. I just want to say, as educators, I really do think that we need to look at this model, have the kids try to figure the problems out before we give them the answers, before we help them. So they do, we do as a group, and then we lecture on out in. Thank you for listening to our reports, and we welcome any type of feedback.
Thank you.